suddenly saw emerge a living creature of monstrous form. The creature, which belongs to the class of animals hitherto considered to be extinct, has a very long neck and a mouth filled with sharp teeth. It stands on 4 long legs, which are united together by 2 membranes, doubtless intended to support the animal in the air, and are armed with 4 claws terminated by long and crooked talons. Its general form resembles that of a bat, differing only in its size, which is that of a large goose. Its membranous wings, when spread out, measure from tip to tip 3 meters 22 centimeters, nearly 10 feet 7 inches. Its color is a livid black, and its skin is naked, thick, and oily. Its intestines only contained a colorless liquid like clear water. On reaching the light, this monster gave some signs of life by shaking its wings, but soon after expired, uttering a hoarse cry. This strange creature, to which may be given the name living fossil, has been brought to Gray, where a naturalist well versed in the study of paleontology immediately recognized it as belonging to the genus Pterodactyl anus. Many fossil remains of which have been found among the strata, which geologists have designated by the name in which it lies. A naturalist identified this creature in 1856 as a pterodactyl, which is very similar, doesn't have the big long thing on the back of the head, very similar to pteranodon. Did man actually see a pterodactyl that supposedly died out 65 million years ago? Questions I have about this is, where's this thing now? I haven't gotten answers to that yet. But this is supposed to be an accurate news report from an accurate news source in 1856. Oh. And this is the pteranodon, not the pterodactyl. Yes?
You're saying that this living creature was encased in stone?
It wasn't living.
Oh, I thought you said that it made movements, shaking.
They apparently were blasting a tunnel to connect railways, and out of a chunk of rock that fell down, it cracked open from blasting the rock, and this creature came out, and apparently the wings spread and made a hoarse cry, and it fell to the ground. It was not alive.
How did it make this cry?
Your guess is as good as mine. I'm guessing if it was encased, it might have had air in the lungs or something, or the lungs might have been pressed, and maybe it wasn't hoarse and crying out, but when it was released, compressed lungs inside, or the compressed chest cavity might have just suddenly let it expand, and airflow might have made a noise or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But all I can tell you is what the article said, and that's all I can tell you.
Didn't the article say it was living?
It said living fossil, not a living creature. Okay. On reaching the light, this monster gave some signs of life by shaking its wings, but soon after expired, uttering a hoarse cry. This strange creature, to which may be given the name living fossil, has been brought to Gray, where a naturalist identified it as a pterodactyl. So it was dead. Was it really alive when it came out of the rock? I tend to think not. It made some motion, maybe kind of like a spring that's compressed pops a little bit. I don't know. All I can say is it's an interesting article. It's from supposed to be from a reliable editorial source, and February 9th, 1856, and it's page 166. And like I said, I have a copy of this article in my files at home. If you want it, I can mail it to you. I might be able to scan it and email it to you. Yes?
Why might be so bold? It sounds like the writer of this article had his inebriated condition hanging over it for the night before. Because that is absolutely untrue.
Maybe it's not true. The curator said, and he read this, and I showed it to him. The curator said, based on the reputation of the magazine, he believed if it didn't happen, they wouldn't have printed it. So you take it for what it's worth. If you saw this in Time or Newsweek today, would you believe it? So it's an interesting article, and I like to read it because it gives you a picture of a creature that's supposed to be long dead that may have been witnessed by man. May have been. And there are other sightings of the Thunderbird to verify that pterosaur-type creatures may have existed as shortly as a few hundred years ago, including in the Black Dragon Canyon, perhaps. So are these creatures gone? Well, these may be gone now. Were they gone 65 million years ago? They may not have been. They may have been around more recently. As one gentleman said when he saw the black dragon, very provocative. And I think that's what this article is. It doesn't prove anything, but it gives you something to think about. Yes?
Keeping it in context of evolution, I mean, where did whoever wrote or drew, first of all, whoever drew that picture, where did he get his idea to draw that picture from? Mm-hmm. And this person, be he inebriated or not, where did he get this idea to kind of be able to report this? I mean, this was supposed to have been millions of years before we came on the scene. Mm-hmm. Wow, what an imagination. I mean, the more you look at this, it's just like keep embracing, evolutionary thought. Just continues to require just more and more unbelievable kinds of things. Mm-hmm. That's truly unbelievable. It's like, this guy get the idea to even grow this.
Well, so I can't say that it's true. I wonder about it, and there's enough other stories to make me think there may be some credibility to it. But what I'd like to find out, and if anybody here might know about this thing too, I'm sure I'm not the only one that heard about this and looked up the article. What happened to it after it was found? I had heard a story about what might have happened to it, but haven't been able to verify it, so I'd rather not say, because I don't have anything concrete to hang the hat on. But I'd like to know what happened to the thing. But if anyone has any information on that, I'd love to get it. Okay, let's move on. Next, I want to look at a creationist green chicken. Okay, the creationists do it too. The creationists make up stories about things that they shouldn't. And this story has to do with the supposed discovery of a plesiosaur. Everyone's heard about this in 1977, April of 1977, off the coast of New Zealand. The Zorro Maro, or whatever Japanese fishing trawler, pulled this creature out of the ocean. And all over the world, we found a plesiosaur. I even fell for it initially, but there's a problem with thinking that this thing's a plesiosaur. Here's a picture of a plesiosaur based on the skeletal remains. What interesting difference do you see? Yeah. This thing doesn't have a long neck. It's not even long enough to be a pliosaur, which is a group within the plesiosaurs that have shorter necks than plesiosaurs, but still have long necks. The pliosaurs could have, I think, 12 to 16 vertebrae. Plesiosaurs could be up to 30 vertebrae in the neck, depending on the species of the plesiosaur. I'm not convinced it's a basking shark. This is a sketch that a naturalist on the Zorro Maro made of this creature after the fact, after it was gone. He only drew 7 or 8 neck vertebrae in the thing, based on his observations of this creature. Now, they say it's a basking shark. I'm not convinced it's a basking shark, but I am convinced it's not a plesiosaur. So, as creationists, we got to be careful on this stuff. You read stuff like the article from the Illustrated London News and say, well, what if, maybe? Let's